Thank you, Ken. And it's good to know that even in my mid-60s, that I can still have new experiences. That's the first time I've ever pledged allegiance to a phone. Our speaker comes to us courtesy of Kim Eisenberg, who couldn't be here this week, but Kristen works with our friend Kim Bumpus over at Visit Knoxville, but she also wrote the book, 100 Things to Do in Knoxville Before You Die. She's the director of communications over at Visit Knoxville, with extensive knowledge of Knoxville as a tourism destination. She writes and manages a blog and additional editorial content for visitknoxville.com and operates Visit Knoxville social media platforms and provides resources and itineraries for visiting travel writers. So without further ado, Kristen Cohen.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 100, 100. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm really excited to chat with you about 100 Things to Do in Knoxville Before You Die. It's a book that I wrote that I'm really excited about. I love Knoxville, and by y'all being here, I know that you do too. So I'm going to run through a couple of things in the book, and then we're going to play a little fun game. So thank you again for supporting local authors. I really appreciate it. I'll chat a little bit more as we go on. But this book was published by the Press based out of St. Louis, Missouri. There was a series of 100 Things to Do with both cities, and there wasn't yet one in Knoxville. So really excited to have this opportunity to chat about this book and our favorite place we call home. So the book is separated into multiple categories, and I'd like to start with one of my favorites, food and drink, right? Perfect for a lunchtime presentation. I honestly feel like I could write a book on food and drink alone, and truthfully, with the amount of caffeine I consume, I could probably write a book on coffee shops and alcohol, right? And I'm one of those annoying people that I never get enough stars to get a free cup anywhere because I only go to a different shop every single Saturday. It drives me crazy. Anyway, I'd love to point out just a couple of things that I love about Knoxville. I mentioned the coffee shops. You may recognize that top left image there. The K Brew, their iconic annex. And since K Brew and Old City Java and so many more, there's lots of great coffees to be had here. That top image on the right there, you may recognize that platter is Got Beans. Very exciting that we have what is the nicest place in America. We've been here since 2018. You may know that was honored in that way from Reader's Digest poll, and now it's on Good Morning America. So we've got some really nice people and places here in Knoxville. That bottom left is Jason Boltway, who I mean is just doing amazing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen all of the accolades lately, but they are now recommended by the Michelin Guide. They just, as of a couple of days ago, made USA Today's, I want to say 38 or 39 top restaurants for 2026. So they're just doing great. So there's so many wonderful restaurants that I could go on and on. And then Knoxville is not Knoxville without its incredible beer scene. That image there is from Abridged, and that's its own category. If you haven't been to some breweries, I really encourage you to check it out. A lot of them have non-alcoholic options, a lot of variety if that's not your thing. But check it out and support some of our local breweries. Music and entertainment. I don't know about you, but I stay entertained here all year long, from professional theater on the left, and I think I need to update my image there with the new Jenny Boyd Theater over at the Clarence Brown Theater. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to get my life together and then book a ticket for Cabaret that they're showing. I don't know if any of you all have seen it yet, but I've heard amazing things. That image next to it is, of course, our own Balloon Play special with WDPX. They also, in addition to the visitor center, perform at Harley's and some other places around town. So if you haven't checked that free show out, I encourage you to do so. And that's just one example of live music. Next to it, you may have seen some of these signs as you wander around downtown, the Cradle of Country Music. A lot of people, whether from Knoxville or just visiting, they don't really think of Knoxville necessarily as a big country music destination. And, you know, sure, in comparison to Nashville, Music City, where country music is completely blown up, I'd say they're right. But without Knoxville, you don't have a Nashville. So Bristol, you may know as the birthplace of country music. Knoxville is the cradle. It's where those stars of the 30s and 40s, even our own patron saint Dolly Parton, really got their start. So those signs that you'll see throughout town, there's a free self-guided walking tour if you want to learn more about that. And then over there on the right is an image of the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra. You may be surprised to know that the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra doesn't just perform in beautiful grand theaters like the Tennessee, which of course is beautiful in and of its own right. But it also, they go on the road. There's shows all over the place they do. This image I took a few years back was a show that they did at the Knoxville Botanical Garden. And one of those things where you just kind of wander around. See a group, quartet over here, another group going on over there, really delightful. So I encourage you to follow their calendar for more locations and interesting places to see them. Sports and recreation, a very, very solid category that we have in Knoxville, something that I spend a lot of time talking about in terms of social media, journalists, and all kinds of people, because we've got a lot of great things here, and you don't have to get crazy. If you want to go rock climbing, you can. If you want to go mountain biking, you can. Myself, I'm a little bit more of a, greenway bike kind of person, maybe put some snacks in my basket, that's you're not gonna find me actually mountain biking, okay? You're just not. And if you're also not gonna be doing that, we have an incredible greenway system with lots of things to explore along the way. And that top left image there represents that. I do actually say this in the book. If you don't have a bike, you can rent one over at Knoxville Adventure Collective. And you can ride the Needham Greenway. I say this in the book. It's 2.5 miles one way, just enough to get your heart pumping without passing out, which I'm that's a goal. The bottom left image there is an aerial of Baker Creek Preserve, and you're not gonna find it there. But what you will find in the parking lot is license plates from all over the place that want to check out Knoxville's Kentucky, the urban wilderness. Also with another wilderness, that top right image, I'm sure you've seen before, is the beautiful quarry over at Iams. I am just waiting for some warmer weather to go for a swim or paddle. And then that bottom right image there, speaking of paddling, the Tennessee River running right through our beautiful downtown is actually formed just east of downtown by the French Broad and Holston coming together. So we've got such a great asset with the beautiful Tennessee River here. And again, I could go on and on with all kinds of other things from UT football, One Knox, the Smokies, etc. Then culture and history. We are getting to that time of year where it is festival season. Mardi Gras is about to kick off. It's everyone's favorite pet party. I'm very excited about that. So that third image there is, of course, an image of Asian Festival, Last Asian Festival. So, I mean, again, could just go on and on about festivals, from big ears to dogwood, to all the cultural events we do all year long, and there's a lot going on. But not just specific events, there's all kinds of other things that represent Knoxville as a destination, from, of course, our iconic Sun Sphere, our wonderful historic house museums, murals, all kinds of things going on, lots of Civil War history, statues, sculptures, the list again goes on. And shopping and fashionistas, here we go, this one's for you. If you follow me on social at Knoxville, my love for vintage has kind of taken over. Movement Vintage is doing a vintage bingo crawl, so if you go check out their shops, there's like 25 shops that you can go to and just be nosy and find vintage stuff. It's something I love to do, and it's relatively inexpensive, but it's kind of getting out of hand. I think I have a problem. But anyway, there's all kinds of wonderful shops here. Vintage just being one of those categories. You may know that we are the Maker City. We have a lot of artisans here and a lot of artists to support. So keep that in mind when you're out and about shopping and supporting local artists, especially on one of my favorite days of the month, First Friday. I really try to plan around First Friday if I can, and just again be nosy, go to the galleries, just see what is out and about. And it's something that it's hard to describe. The vibe is just something special. And if you haven't done First Friday, maybe come this spring is the perfect time for your first excursion. And again, going out with different neighborhoods, all kinds of different places to explore. Maybe if you live in one part of town, you don't really find yourself getting into another part of town. But this guide, I think, will hopefully help you do that. And with that, I love to play bingo, you all. If you got a little sheet in front of you, we're gonna play bingo. These are some leftovers from the Children's Festival of Reading. So go ahead and mark that middle one off. That is one we're gonna call supporting local authors. And y'all are here and you're doing just that. So yay, there's a freebie. Now, it gets a little tricky because I want you to decide internally, you want to play easy mode or hard mode.
Easy.
And you only get to play easy, but maybe next you can play hard mode, okay? Whatever you want to do, and I'm gonna describe both as we go. If you're up for a challenge, go for hard mode. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, here we go. Easy mode, Zoo Knoxville. Surely you've been to Zoo Knoxville before. But we're gonna say hard mode is going to a specific event. Maybe you've been to like Brew at the Zoo, Boo at the Zoo, different things that you do throughout the year. Or Zoofari, thank you. Feast with the Bees, any special event, I'm gonna count as hard mode, okay? Maple Hall. If you've gone bowling here, and hard mode, you've enjoyed the lounge upstairs, which is a really great 21 and up area if you kind of want to get away from the hustle and bustle. Although they've got their own hustle and bustle, and that might be extra hard mode because they do all kinds of events. Like Jack and Billy from the National History Project, they do talks over there, they have trivia nights, so all kinds of things there too. Mass General Store, here's an easy one. And I feel like hard mode is if you've gone and you've managed to not buy candy. I don't think I've passed that test. Putting that on my homeless space too. Knoxville Museum of Art. Shout out Stephen. Hey Stephen. Easy mode is if you've been here, and I think hard mode is again if you've been to an event, maybe like Soundscapes. They also have a book club. Vincent Van Gogh is on the list. Which I'm a big impressionist fan, so maybe check out that book club, but they do all kinds of interesting things throughout the year as well. Okay, mural hunting. I'm gonna say easy mode if you've seen a mural, and hard mode if you actually spend some time hunting with it. We've got on Visit Knoxville's website, there's a great page that has all kinds of fun murals that you can find all throughout the city and the county, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Iams Nature Center, another easy mode if you've been there, hard mode if you've done again any of their events. We might be anything that's in here in terms of events. Every now and again, someone tells me, oh, there's nothing to do. Y'all, that's not right. There's too much to do. In fact, I'm often double and triple booked, okay? So check out these places calendar, just because you have been there, like a hike or something. I mean, Nature Center has like eating side watching parties, they went for salamanders, groups and stuff, birdhouse building workshops, the Boorish fashion show. If you haven't seen that, that is epic, and I really highly recommend. But that sentiment really goes for a lot of these places. Look at their calendars, follow them on social. Like and support them different times of year. Just because you've been there once, don't necessarily consider it checked off, although that is the idea of support there. But don't consider it checked off because you can go to a different place. Maybe there's a new exhibit coming, and you might want to check that out. Okay, East Tennessee History Center, if you've been there, and how about hard mode if you have either gone to an event or you've done some family genealogy there. Anyone done some genealogy at the fun collection? Yeah, we got a couple. I found some great fascinating family genealogy of my own there. You may know of the Knoxville Journal that was the predecessor to the news center, Knox News. I managed to find a 1905 paper of my great grandfather. Now, this is not front page news, But this man, apparently had beef with some other dude. They got to a fight at a saloon. And my great grandfather stabbed this man and got shot in return. Like crazy. But it's the proverbial don't bring a knife to a gunfight, right? So don't do that. You know, you need to resolve the differences. So, kind of crazy, you know, obviously this was 1905, so I've never been a man, and kind of amusing that riprap such as that was buried in Old Grove Cemetery. Which is, if you are not familiar with Old Grove, is kind of the who's who of Knoxville, right? With, you know, there's Mays and the Plums, Lizzie Crozier is buried there, you know, very, well-known and well-heeled Knoxvillians. And then there's my riprap ancestor. So, there's that. Okay, UT Gardens. Oh, we've got a new one. Okay, are you planning on easy mode or hard mode? Easy mode? Okay, that's fair. Easy mode comes. We've got, 2 little chocolates for you here. My son.
Yeah, I know.
And same thing, UT Gardens also does all kinds of things. If you're looking, if you don't have a green thumb, place to be to help you with that. And a visit in April and a visit in August. If you've been to UT Gardens, those are 2 completely different experiences, by the way. Literally, in my book. WDDF Blue Plate Special, this is another little easy one. Hard mode, if maybe you've seen them somewhere else, maybe like Barley's or something like that. Or if you've ever to First Friday, the First Friday Live. The Farragut Museum. A lot of people don't know that we are home to Admiral Farragut. He damned the torpedoes full speed ahead fame, in the Civil War. The Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Another easy one, the only facility of its kind in the world dedicated to all levels of the sport of women's basketball. They also do events and things throughout the year. Hard mode, you actually shot hoops yourself in the lower level. Anyone? Mighty Musical Monday. Okay, here's another one that I was talking about. Of course, you've been in the beautiful Tennessee Theater. Probably been there for a Broadway show. You've probably been there for a concert or something. But do you know that there's a free monthly show every first Monday of the month where they bring up the beautiful, restored Wurlitzer organ? You haven't been, look at that. That's a free show. Check that out. Knoxville Children's Theater, which has just recently moved over into the Foundry. Haven't seen a play, your kids, your grandkids, so check that out. Really wonderful production. Those kids work really hard to put on a phenomenal shows. First Friday, one of my favorites. Biker Walk of Greenway. There's again so much along the greenways, even outside of the greenway experience itself. I wrote a blog post called Guide to Greenways, and that's also on the Knoxville website in the blog section. You want to check that out. Lakeshore Park, one of Knoxville's largest parks and most visited. They do some events throughout the year, like Lakeshore. They do a picnic, which I have never been able to manage to book that, but I hear it's phenomenal. Cruise Farm or Phoenix Pharmacy for anyone that's got a sweet tooth. And I want to add to Sonora Gelato. McClung Museum, we've got a phenomenal museum on UT's campus that is free. It's got a lot of great information about the indigenous populations here in East Tennessee, geology, the geography, all kinds of interesting things over there. They've got a free family fun day that they do, all kinds of different things. I really recommend that as well. Okay, here's a super easy one, Marketsburg Farmers Market, and I'll give the hard mode to you if you have been there for either Wednesday or if you support the farmers market during those specific winter season for hard. Petros, which is unfortunately no longer in the square, but they've got some other locations. We've got a couple of windows. Oh, how many? Can you keep your hands up? Thank you to my lovely volunteer here. I have a sinking feeling I don't have enough candy. Apologies to this side of the room in advance. Okay, If you do have any candy left, which seems extremely doubtful after this, but now I'm going to only give a bingo to anyone playing on hard mode from here on out. We've only got 4 squares left. Can we do it? Anyone left for a bingo? All right, how many left then? 5, 6. Okay, well, Pedro's is it. Okay, well, yay, Pedro's. Okay, Ramsey House, we've got 7 historic house museums. Ramsey House is a little bit in down south Knoxville, really interesting stories and place there. You can also check out, I think hard mode might be if you've seen the Tennessee Vintage Baseball Association play there, or if you've gone to any of their events. I myself have participated in some of their marketplaces, so they've got some fun things going on. Muse Knoxville, this might be hard if you don't have kids, however, they do an adult-only event called Way Late Play Date every now and again. So that might be something fun to keep an eye out, that is adult-only, and you can be a kid yet. Okay, last 2, we've got the Knoxville Ice Bears, we have a great, wonderful season with all kinds of games. We've got 2 bingos with the Ice Bears. Okay. Are y'all playing on hard mode, easy mode? Okay, what's the status on the retreat? Is it okay? We're okay, okay, thank you. Okay, we've got another bingo at that table here. Oh, we have two at that table, awesome. All right, and our very last one, I'm giving you guys the easy one, so whatever happens here. Not responsible, but the Sun Sphere. You call yourselves a Knoxvillian, if you haven't been to the Sun Sphere, and if you're playing on hard mode, you may know that's we do a lot of cool events over there. So, you may know that we did a first Friday event, all of January, we had some bands going on Fridays. We do a sunset at the Sun Sphere, we do Santa at the Sun Sphere. So keep your eye out on social media to see some of those fun things, right? So, what I'm getting from this is we definitely have some places we've been, and we definitely have some places we haven't been. So what you should do maybe is consider the book, and then you'll have a full bingo. Well, not hard mode, what do you guys think? Sounds like a plan? So thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. Here's another bingo card that I've done for some other events. So we'll keep it moving. Okay, so back to the book, just a couple things that I want to share with you all. I feel like, wow, 100 things, it kind of stresses me out. Where should I start? I've thought of that, and I've got you covered. We've got itineraries there that are things that are only in Knoxville, if it's a rainy day, something for date night, so all kinds of ideas there. And then we also have things that are based on the season. So with spring coming up, if you don't have your calendars full, I was going to say I can't help you, but actually I can help you with that. There's so many things, so you're about for this spring here. Also, one thing to point out for the local library lovers, that there is an Explorer Pass, if you're not familiar with that. I leave this slide in for my library talks, but also other talks, just to share that there's some information that you can get with the Knox County Public Library card for discounted free visits to some of these places that are mentioned there in the book as well. And my super quick February, try to customize my presentation for every group that I do to be timely with what's some things going on. I mentioned cabaret earlier, you've got that top left. That next to it there is supporting the Maker City. There's all kinds of classes and things, workshops in particular over at Able Trade in the Old City, which is on my personal list of things to do. You may want to go for a nice drive and go out to Sally and Ashland Memory, that image over there. And then I mentioned the Birdhouse building earlier. Seriously, Ivy's calendar is crazy awesome. Check it out. I also plan on going to the opera with some Bugs Bunny action with the Barber of Seville. I'm really excited for that. And then Visit Knoxville has an event coming up over at the beautiful here. It's the Tennessee Songwriter Showcase. And this is an event that's designed to let performers in the songwriting field have a chance to compete. And there's basically they compete at various venues prior to getting to the Bijou. And the Bijou is that showcase. And then the winner, Bijou, was on for an opportunity to play at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. So it's a really cool way to support local musicians, that are really making a name for themselves, maybe some new live music. So that's the last Saturday in February. And with that, I would love to thank you all again so much for being here and supporting me. I will be here. I've got some books on hand if you would like me to sign one for you. I sell them for 18 each, and I can sign it to you or a friend. I take cash, a card, and it makes a great belated Valentine's Day gift if you're in trouble from the weekend, some client gifts. Realtors, anything like that, whether you're new to Knoxville or maybe you've been here for some time. I think you can all agree that there's lots to do here. In fact, I think there's at least 100 things. Thank you all so much.
All right, if you didn't already, now you know why it feels like everybody in the United States wants to move to Knoxville. Kristen, it's our club's tradition to donate a book to a local elementary school on behalf of our speaker. This week's book is Norman and the Smell of Adventure.